Introduction. As we age, a good night's sleep can become harder to achieve. But what if the solution is as simple as what you eat? Today, we'll explore 7 amazing foods that can naturally improve your sleep without the risks of sleep medications. Stick with me, and let's discover how small changes in your diet can help you get the restful sleep you deserve. Part 1. Foods that naturally support sleep. Introduction. Why food matters more than you think. When I first began researching the subtle yet powerful relationship between food and sleep, I was skeptical. Could something as simple as eating a particular fruit really make a meaningful difference in how deeply or how long we sleep? After decades of studying human health and working closely with seniors, I can confidently say, yes, it absolutely can. Food is more than just fuel. It's communication with your body. Certain foods quietly signal your internal systems, your brain, your muscles, your hormones, telling them it's time to wind down, relax, and restore. Especially as we age, when natural sleep hormones like melatonin tend to decline, what we eat becomes one of our greatest allies for healthy, restorative sleep. Today, I want to walk you through 3 incredible foods: kiwi, tart cherries, and bananas, that nature has designed almost as if they were handcrafted for a senior's nighttime needs. Kiwi, the tiny green sleep guardian. Let's start with the humble kiwi. You might not expect it, after all. It's small, fuzzy, and often overlooked at the grocery store, sitting quietly next to brighter, flashier fruits. But inside that thin skin lies a nutritional powerhouse. Kiwi is extraordinarily rich in serotonin, a chemical in your brain that serves as the precursor to melatonin, the sleep hormone. Without enough serotonin, your brain struggles to produce melatonin efficiently, which can make falling asleep feel like trying to drift off while someone leaves the lights on. Research conducted by the Taipei Medical University found that participants who ate 2 kiwis 1 hour before bedtime fell asleep up to 35% faster. Even more impressively, they slept longer, about 13% more overall. Imagine turning a restless night into one of peaceful slumber, simply by savoring a couple of kiwis after dinner. How does kiwi work its magic? Beyond serotonin, kiwis are rich in antioxidants, like vitamin C and carotenoids. These antioxidants help combat oxidative stress, a biological kind of wear and tear that can interfere with sleep quality. Oxidative stress rises naturally with age. That's part of why seniors may find it harder to stay asleep through the night. By neutralizing free radicals, antioxidants in kiwi help protect and calm your nervous system, creating an internal environment far more conducive to deep, uninterrupted sleep. A real-world story. Mrs. Langston's kiwi routine. Let me share the story of one of my patients, Mrs. Helen Langston, a spry 78-year-old with a warm laugh but a long history of poor sleep. Sleeping pills left her groggy. Herbal teas didn't help much. When we introduced the kiwi hour, where she ate 2 ripe kiwis after her light evening walk, within 2 weeks, Helen reported she not only fell asleep faster but woke up feeling more refreshed than she had in years. It was such a small change, but it brought back something priceless: her energy and zest for mornings. Have you tried making kiwi part of your nightly ritual yet? Tart cherries, the crimson elixir for sleep. Next, let's talk about tart cherries, sometimes called Montmorency cherries. Unlike the sweet cherries we enjoy in pies, tart cherries pack a much higher concentration of melatonin. They are one of the rare fruits where melatonin is naturally abundant, not just in trace amounts. Several studies, including a prominent one by Louisiana State University, showed that drinking tart cherry juice twice a day helped older adults sleep nearly 84 minutes longer per night. That's over an hour, just from adding a delicious juice to your daily routine. Why tart cherries are so special? Melatonin directly boosts your natural sleep hormone levels. Tryptophan provides an essential building block for serotonin. Anthocyanins, these anti-inflammatory compounds, reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, both of which can otherwise disrupt your sleep. In other words, tart cherries don't just knock you out like a sleeping pill. They work on a deeper level, healing and rebalancing your body so that natural sleep comes more easily. A small glass, a big difference. A 65-year-old man named Walter, whom I had the pleasure of treating, once told me he hadn't slept through the night since his 40s. after adding 8 ounces of tart cherry juice in the morning and again in the evening. He said, "It was like someone turned off the noise in my head." He no longer tossed and turned. He slipped into sleep smoothly and woke up fewer times during the night. His blood pressure even improved slightly, which his cardiologist attributed to the anti-inflammatory effects of the cherries. Could something as simple as a daily glass of tart cherry juice be the missing piece in your sleep puzzle? Bananas, the sleep-friendly comfort food. Finally, let's visit an old, familiar friend, the banana. Bananas are often called nature's sleeping pill, and there's a good reason why. They are packed with magnesium, a mineral essential for muscle relaxation and nervous system calming. They provide tryptophan, the amino acid that helps your brain produce serotonin and melatonin. They contain potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure and muscle contractions, keeping nighttime cramps at bay. For seniors who often experience magnesium deficiency, due to less efficient absorption or medications that deplete it, bananas can be a gentle, delicious way to restore balance. Magnesium, the relaxation mineral. Imagine your muscles like tightly wound springs. Without enough magnesium, they can't relax properly, leading to restlessness, tension, and even painful nighttime cramps. A medium banana provides about 32 milligrams of magnesium, a helpful, natural top-up for your body's needs. In my practice, I've often recommended a simple, comforting bedtime snack. Half a banana spread with a spoonful of almond butter, which also contains magnesium. It's a sleep-inducing combination that's tasty and satisfying without being heavy. A heartwarming example, Betty's banana habit. One of my dear patients, Mrs. Betty Armstrong, an 83-year-old grandmother with the gentlest smile, used to dread bedtime. Leg cramps and anxiety made falling asleep a nightly battle. We added a nightly banana to her evening tea ritual. Just a banana, no expensive supplements, no prescriptions. 3 weeks later, Betty hugged me tightly and whispered, "Doctor, I can finally sleep without fear." That's the magic of magnesium and potassium, calming your muscles and your mind from the inside out. Have you made friends with bananas lately? Closing this part, the gentle power of nature. As you can see, sometimes the solutions we seek are beautifully simple. Kiwi, tart cherries, bananas. Each of these natural gifts works in harmony with your body. Not against it. They don't force sleep the way medications do. Instead, they nudge your internal systems gently back into balance. In my decades of research and clinical practice, I've seen one truth stand tall again and again. Nature doesn't rush, yet everything gets done. When you invite these foods into your life, you're inviting better sleep, better energy, and a better quality of life, all on your body's own gentle timetable. So tonight, perhaps after dinner or after your evening stroll, reach for a kiwi, pour a small glass of tart cherry juice, or peel a sweet banana. You're not just nourishing your body, you're nurturing your sleep, your energy, and your future. Part 2. How sleep-boosting foods work in the aging body. As we age, many of the natural rhythms and biological functions that supported deep, uninterrupted sleep in our younger years begin to shift. These changes aren't just due to lifestyle or habits, they're deeply embedded in the aging process itself. As a physician who has spent decades studying both sleep and nutrition, I can tell you this: understanding how certain foods interact with the senior body is just as important as knowing which foods to eat. In this section, we'll explore exactly what happens to our sleep systems as we age, and how the foods we discussed earlier, kiwis, tart cherries, bananas, walnuts, chamomile tea, and others, interact with aging biology. My goal is to make this information practical, easy to digest, no pun intended, and empowering. Let's start by looking at the 3 major biological systems that govern sleep. Melatonin production and circadian rhythm. Neurotransmitter balance. Inflammatory and hormonal regulation. 1. Melatonin production and circadian rhythm. Why it declines with age. In youth, the brain's pineal gland produces ample melatonin, a hormone that signals to the body it's time to sleep. This melatonin production is closely tied to light exposure, which is why bright light during the day and darkness at night are so critical. But in seniors, melatonin production can drop by as much as 50% or more. Why? The pineal gland itself becomes less responsive. And aging eyes often receive less light stimulation due to cataracts or reduced time spent outdoors. This is one reason many older adults start to fall asleep earlier and wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. Now here's where food plays a powerful role. Tart cherries and walnuts both naturally contain melatonin. Unlike synthetic supplements, these natural sources work with the body's internal clock rather than overriding it. Kiwis help because they increase serotonin levels, a precursor to melatonin. More serotonin, especially in the evening, means better melatonin conversion. These foods don't force the body to sleep, they remind it how to. Gently reinforcing the natural cycle. 2. Neurotransmitter balance. The role of serotonin and GABA. Our brains rely on neurotransmitters, chemical messengers like serotonin and GABA, to calm the nervous system at night. Serotonin boosts feelings of calm and well-being. GABA acts like the brain's natural brake system, reducing excitability and preparingness for deep rest. Here's the issue. These calming neurotransmitters often become imbalanced with age. Stress, medication interactions, and nutrient deficiencies can all contribute. Bananas are rich in tryptophan, an amino acid the brain uses to make serotonin. They also contain vitamin B6, which is essential for this conversion process. Chamomile tea contains a compound called apigenin, which binds to GABA receptors in the brain, effectively mimicking the calming effect of GABA without side effects. Walnuts, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, also support neurotransmitter function, particularly DHA, which helps stabilize mood and cognition. When these neurotransmitters are supported nutritionally, the brain can more easily transition from alertness to rest. 3. Inflammation, cortisol, and hormonal disruption. Chronic low-grade inflammation is common in older adults and can wreak havoc on sleep. Why? Because inflammation disrupts cortisol, the body's main stress hormone. Ideally, cortisol should peak in the morning and taper off at night. But inflammation flips this rhythm, keeping cortisol elevated into the evening. High cortisol at night equals racing thoughts, shallow sleep, and frequent awakenings. This is where anti-inflammatory foods become essential. Tart cherries are high in anthocyanins, which reduce inflammatory markers like CRP and interleukin-6. Chamomile tea helps reduce both inflammation and anxiety. Walnuts, again, contribute anti-inflammatory omega-3s that support a calmer nervous system. By reducing inflammation and supporting cortisol balance, these foods help set the stage for restorative sleep. Putting it all together, a senior's nighttime routine. Let me share a simple evening routine I recommend to many of my patients. Around 7 p.m., eat a small snack of banana slices with walnuts. Around 8 p.m., dim the lights, avoid screens, and brew a cup of chamomile tea. At 9 p.m., enjoy a few tart cherries or a small glass of unsweetened tart cherry juice. By 9:30 p.m., begin winding down with deep breathing or soft music. This routine doesn't just promote sleep, it rebuilds the sleep cycle from the inside out. Part 3. Real stories and practical tips for seniors. As a physician who has spent over 3 decades in geriatric health and nutritional science, I've come to understand that advice alone is never enough. Real change comes when knowledge meets personal experience. That's why in this section, I want to share with you not just facts, but stories. Stories of seniors just like you who turned their nights around, gently, naturally, and without reaching for a pill bottle. These are people I've met in clinics, at community wellness events, and through late-night phone calls from concerned sons and daughters. Their struggles were real, but so were their results. And through their journeys, you may just find the inspiration and the practical tools you need to reclaim your own restful sleep. 1. Margaret's 3 a.m. wake-ups. The cherry juice solution. Margaret, 76, from Oregon, had been waking up like clockwork at 3 a.m. for nearly a year. I'd fall asleep fine, she told me, but staying asleep was impossible. I'd lie awake for hours, watching shadows on the ceiling. When I reviewed her habits, I found nothing alarming, but when I asked about her diet, she mentioned how she skipped fruit because of blood sugar concerns. I suggested she try a very modest amount, just 4 ounces, of unsweetened tart cherry juice in the evening. 2 weeks later, she called me in tears, happy ones. I've slept through the night for 5 nights in a row. She said, research backs her experience. Tart cherries are one of the richest natural sources of melatonin and anti-inflammatory compounds, both of which are crucial for continuous sleep in older adults. Tip for you. Try a small glass, 4 ounces, of tart cherry juice about 1 to 2 hours before bed. It may help extend sleep duration and reduce nighttime awakenings. 2. Harold and the banana walnut ritual. Harold, 82, was a former Marine and not one to complain. But after his wife passed, he told me he had trouble relaxing enough to sleep. My body's tired, but my mind won't shut off, he admitted. We talked about tryptophan-rich foods and the calming properties of magnesium. I encouraged him to eat half a banana and a handful of walnuts about an hour before bed. Within a week, he noticed a difference, not just falling asleep faster, but waking up feeling more refreshed. He even started calling it his sleep soldier snack. Tip for you. Combine banana slices and a few walnuts for a soothing pre-bed snack. Tryptophan, melatonin, and magnesium work together to ease body and mind. 3. Gloria's tea and light ritual. Gloria, 79, had read every sleep book out there and tried every supplement from melatonin pills to valerian root. But she still felt restless. When I visited her home, I noticed her lighting was harsh even in the evening. Bright ceiling lights and television glare filled her living room. We made 2 small changes, switching to warm-toned lamps in the evening and introducing a chamomile tea ritual around 8 p.m. I started looking forward to that quiet time. She told me later, it made me feel like I was winding down, not just my body, but my emotions too. She began sleeping longer stretches, and more importantly, she reported fewer anxious thoughts at night. Tip for you. Create a calming evening ritual. Chamomile tea, soft lighting, and quiet time away from screens can signal your body that it's time for rest. 4. Walter's holistic turnaround. Walter, a 68-year-old retired carpenter, suffered from chronic pain due to arthritis and slept in fragments. No drugs seemed to help. I worked with him on a comprehensive sleep nutrition plan, reducing processed foods, increasing anti-inflammatory options, and introducing omega-3 rich walnuts and tart cherries. He also started taking short evening walks to regulate his circadian rhythm. Within 3 weeks, his pain decreased slightly, but more remarkably, his sleep became deeper and more consistent. Tip for you. Remember, better sleep often starts during the day. Daylight exposure, gentle movement, and a diet rich in anti-inflammatory foods can make a big difference at night. Bringing it together, a gentle revolution. What all these stories share is not just dietary advice, but a gentle shift in routine, a willingness to listen to one's body, and the courage to try something new. You don't need perfection, you need consistency. Choose 1 or 2 of the tips that resonate most with you, and give them a sincere try for 2 weeks. Track how you feel. Notice changes in how easily you fall asleep, how often you wake up, and how rested you feel in the morning. Small choices, like enjoying kiwi before bed, sipping chamomile tea, or dimming the lights, can set off a powerful chain reaction inside your body. And perhaps most beautifully, these changes don't just help you sleep better, they help you live better. In the next and final section, we'll look at common foods and habits that may be sabotaging your sleep, often without you even knowing it. Get ready for some surprising insights. Conclusion. Reclaiming rest, 1 bite at a time. As someone who has spent a lifetime walking alongside patients through the changing seasons of health, I can tell you this with complete certainty. Good sleep is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. And for seniors, regaining that lifeline doesn't always mean reaching for a pill bottle. Sometimes, the answer is found right in your kitchen. We've explored together how simple, natural foods like kiwis, tart cherries, bananas, walnuts, and chamomile tea can gently support your body's rhythms and bring back the kind of deep, healing sleep you may have thought was long gone. These aren't magic fixes, they're gentle nudges, helping your body remember what it already knows: how to rest, how to heal, how to be well. From the science to the stories, one truth keeps rising to the surface. Your body still wants to sleep. It just needs a little help finding its way back. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Right finger, have you tried any of these foods before bedtime? Right finger, do you have a nighttime routine that works wonders for you? right finger, or maybe you've got a question or concern about sleep in your later years? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, not just for me, but for the entire community of wise, experienced folks like you who are seeking better rest and better health. And if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any of our future deep dives into the superfoods and daily habits that can truly transform life in our golden years.